Most people believe that their daily habits are harmless, small routines that keep life moving. But as a brain doctor, I need to warn you that certain habits, the very ones many seniors practice every single day, can silently raise your stroke risk by up to 300%. That is not an exaggeration. It is a medical reality backed by decades of research. The shocking part is that these are not extreme or unusual behaviors. They are simple habits that may feel comfortable or normal but can turn deadly over time, especially at night when your body is least prepared to fight back. Imagine this. A man in his late 60s thinks he is doing fine. He eats the same meals he has eaten for years, watches television for hours every evening, and often stays up late past midnight. One morning, his family finds him unable to speak, one side of his face drooping, and his arm limp at his side. He never thought his routine had anything to do with stroke. But the truth is, those habits quietly built up stress on his blood vessels until his brain could no longer cope. I have seen stories like this too many times, and I do not want it to happen to you or someone you love. The danger of these habits is that they do not cause immediate pain. Eating too much salt does not hurt in the moment. Sitting for hours does not make you collapse right away. Smoking a cigarette or having one more drink may feel relaxing, not threatening. Staying up late might even feel productive. But each of these actions silently damages your arteries, raises your blood pressure, thickens your blood, and disrupts your brain's oxygen supply. Over years, these tiny hits add up, and the result can be a stroke that changes your life forever. The good news is that awareness is power. Once you know which habits raise your risk, you can begin to change them. That is why in this video, I am going to reveal 5 dangerous habits that raise stroke risk by up to 300%. I will explain why they are harmful, how they affect your brain and circulation, what warning signs you should never ignore, and most importantly, what safer choices you can make instead. Because stroke is not inevitable. It is preventable if you take action now. Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. And if you find this video valuable, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. So I know how to make better content for you. Your feedback helps me bring you the advice that could save a life, maybe even your own. Part 1. Habit 1. Excess salt intake. One of the most dangerous yet overlooked habits that raises stroke risk by up to 300% is eating too much salt. Many seniors believe that adding a little extra salt to their food is harmless. After all, they have been doing it for years. But the truth is that excess salt quietly damages your blood vessels and sets the stage for devastating strokes, often without any warning. Here is what happens inside your body. Salt contains sodium, and when sodium levels rise in your bloodstream, your body holds onto water. This extra fluid increases the volume of blood flowing through your arteries. Over time, the added pressure stiffens and damages the delicate walls of your blood vessels. Think of it like water flowing too strongly through a thin pipe. Eventually, the pipe begins to crack. In your body, those cracks become weak spots that can rupture or develop clots, either of which can lead directly to a stroke. The brain is especially vulnerable because it relies on a constant, steady flow of oxygen-rich blood. When high blood pressure caused by excess salt damages the arteries feeding the brain, 2 major problems occur. First, clots are more likely to form and block blood flow. causing an ischemic stroke. Second, fragile arteries in the brain are more likely to burst under pressure, causing a hemorrhagic stroke. Both types can leave you unable to speak, unable to move, or even take your life within minutes. Studies confirm this risk. Research published in leading medical journals has shown that people who consume more than 5 grams of salt daily have up to a 300% higher risk of stroke compared to those who eat less than 2 grams. The danger is even greater for seniors, because aging blood vessels are already stiffer and less able to handle spikes in pressure. Add salt on top of that, and the brain is living on borrowed time. What makes this habit so tricky is that salt is not only in the shaker on your dining table, it hides in processed foods, canned soups, bread, sauces, and even so-called healthy snacks. Seniors often believe they are eating modestly, but in reality, their sodium intake far exceeds safe levels. So what can you do? The first step is awareness. Start reading food labels carefully. Many packaged foods contain half or more of your daily sodium limit in a single serving. Second, replace salt with healthier seasonings such as herbs, lemon, or garlic. Third, cook more meals at home, where you can control exactly how much salt goes into your food. Finally, if you already have high blood pressure, measure it regularly. High readings are often the first clue that your salt intake is too high. Remember, your brain depends on healthy circulation, and every grain of salt you add is like an invisible weight pressing against your blood vessels. If this shocked you, wait until you hear about the next dangerous habit, one that involves not moving enough and silently creates clots that can travel straight to your brain. Part 2. Habit 2. Sedentary lifestyle. Another habit that can quietly raise your risk of stroke by as much as 300% is living a sedentary lifestyle. Too many seniors spend long hours sitting in front of the television, reading in the same chair, or even resting in bed for most of the day. While this may feel comfortable and harmless, the truth is that sitting still for long periods is one of the most dangerous choices you can make for your brain. Here is why. When you sit or lie still for hours, blood circulation slows dramatically. Instead of flowing freely, blood begins to pool in the legs. This stagnant blood is more likely to form clots. A clot in the leg may remain silent until it travels upward. If it reaches the lungs, it can cause a pulmonary embolism. If it passes through the heart into the brain, it can block an artery and trigger an ischemic stroke. This is why doctors call prolonged sitting the new smoking. It damages your body in ways that may not be obvious until it is too late. In addition to clot formation, inactivity weakens the cardiovascular system as a whole. Muscles that would normally help pump blood back to the heart remain idle, forcing the heart to work harder over time. This increases blood pressure, stiffens arteries, and raises cholesterol levels. The brain suffers most because it depends on a steady stream of oxygen-rich blood. When circulation slows, brain cells are starved, and the risk of both small silent strokes and larger catastrophic events climbs sharply. Real-life warning signs of a sedentary lifestyle include swelling in the ankles, unexplained fatigue, and sudden dizziness when standing. Many seniors dismiss these as signs of aging, but they are actually red flags that circulation is compromised. Ignoring these signs gives clots time to form and arteries time to weaken. The first noticeable symptom for some people is not mild discomfort, but a major stroke that changes their life forever. Scientific evidence supports this danger. Studies in stroke journals have found that seniors who spend more than 8 hours per day sitting are nearly 3 times more likely to suffer a stroke compared to those who remain moderately active. Even those who exercise once a day but sit the rest of the time still carry elevated risk. The body simply was not designed for prolonged immobility. The good news is that breaking this habit does not require running marathons or heavy workouts. Small changes make a huge difference. Standing up every 30 minutes, stretching, or taking a 5-minute walk around the house helps keep blood flowing and prevents clots. Light activities such as gardening, cooking, or walking to the mailbox all count as movement. For seniors with mobility limitations, even gentle chair exercises or leg movements, while seated, improve circulation and protect the brain. A sedentary lifestyle may feel comfortable, but it is silently dangerous. Every hour you sit without moving is an hour where your blood slows, your vessels stiffen, and your brain becomes vulnerable. If this surprised you, wait until you hear about the next habit. One that many seniors struggle to quit, but that multiplies stroke risk every single day. Part 3. Habit 3. Smoking. One of the most destructive habits that raises stroke risk by up to 300% is smoking. Many seniors began smoking decades ago, at a time when the dangers were not widely known, and now believe that quitting will not make a difference. But the truth is, every cigarette you smoke continues to damage your blood vessels, your heart, and your brain, no matter your age. And quitting at any stage of life immediately lowers your risk. Here is what smoking does inside your body. With every puff, thousands of toxic chemicals enter your bloodstream. These toxins damage the inner lining of your arteries, causing them to become rough and inflamed. A healthy artery is smooth, allowing blood to flow freely. A smoker's artery becomes scarred, making it easier for cholesterol and plaque to stick. Over time, the artery narrows and stiffens, restricting blood flow. In the brain, this means less oxygen reaches delicate tissues. A single clot lodging in one of these narrowed vessels can trigger an ischemic stroke in seconds. Smoking also increases blood pressure and heart rate. Nicotine stimulates the nervous system, forcing the heart to pump harder. Carbon monoxide in cigarette smoke reduces the oxygen-carrying capacity of red blood cells. That means the brain is working harder to get less oxygen, a dangerous combination that makes strokes more likely, especially at night when blood pressure naturally fluctuates. Studies have shown the impact clearly. According to research published in leading neurology journals, smokers are up to 3 times more likely to suffer a stroke compared to non-smokers. Even light or occasional smokers carry significantly higher risk. And when combined with other habits such as high salt intake or sedentary living, the danger multiplies. Smoking does not just harm one part of the body, it amplifies every other risk factor. The warning signs of stroke in smokers are often subtle at first. Shortness of breath during mild activity, frequent headaches, or numbness in the hands may seem harmless. But these are signals that blood flow to the brain and body is already compromised. Too often, seniors ignore these symptoms until the day they wake up, unable to move one side of their body or unable to speak. By then, the damage is permanent. The hopeful truth is that quitting smoking at any age begins to repair the body almost immediately. Within weeks, blood pressure begins to normalize. Within months, circulation improves. Within a few years, the risk of stroke drops dramatically, sometimes approaching that of a non-smoker. It is never too late to give your brain the oxygen it needs. Practical steps to quit include replacing cigarettes with healthier habits such as chewing sugar-free gum, practicing deep breathing, or walking when cravings hit. support groups, nicotine replacement therapy, and counseling have all been proven effective. The hardest part is the first decision to stop. But every day without cigarettes is a day your brain and heart grow stronger. Smoking may feel like an old companion, but it is quietly your most dangerous enemy. If this part shocked you, wait until you hear about the next habit. One that many seniors see as harmless relaxation, but which silently raises stroke risk even more. Part 4. Habit 4. Excess alcohol consumption. Another habit that silently raises your risk of stroke by up to 300% is drinking too much alcohol. Many seniors see alcohol as a harmless way to relax at the end of the day, a small reward for hard work, or even something that helps them sleep. But the truth is, excess alcohol consumption damages your brain, your heart, and your blood vessels in ways that make strokes far more likely. Here is what happens inside the body. Alcohol raises blood pressure, even with moderate drinking. High blood pressure is the single most important risk factor for stroke. Each drink forces your arteries to constrict, raising resistance against blood flow. Over time, this repeated stress weakens vessel walls, creating cracks where clots can form or where a weak artery may eventually rupture. In the brain, that means a significantly higher chance of both ischemic and hemorrhagic strokes. Alcohol also disrupts the electrical system of the heart. It can trigger arrhythmias, particularly a condition called atrial fibrillation. In atrial fibrillation, the upper chambers of the heart quiver instead of beating effectively. Blood begins to pool inside the heart, forming clots. These clots can break free, travel directly to the brain, and block an artery, causing an immediate stroke. Doctors often call this holiday heart syndrome because it is so common after heavy drinking episodes. But for seniors who drink regularly, it can happen at any time, often overnight. The liver, which filters toxins from alcohol, also suffers under the strain. When liver function is impaired, cholesterol and blood sugar levels rise, both of which contribute to vascular damage. Meanwhile, alcohol thins the blood in unpredictable ways, sometimes increasing the risk of bleeding inside the brain. The combination of weakened vessels, higher pressure, irregular rhythms, and clotting changes makes alcohol a perfect storm for stroke risk. Research is clear. Studies have shown that heavy drinkers are up to 3 times more likely to suffer a stroke than non-drinkers. Even moderate drinkers who exceed 1 drink per day see a significant rise in risk, especially if they already have hypertension, diabetes, or a history of smoking. Seniors are even more vulnerable because their bodies process alcohol more slowly, meaning a smaller amount has a stronger effect. Warning signs of alcohol's impact on the brain can include morning headaches, memory lapses, sudden mood changes, or difficulty with balance. These are not just signs of aging or mild hangovers. They are clues that alcohol is disrupting brain circulation and placing you on the path toward stroke. The good news is that cutting back produces immediate benefits. Reducing intake to no more than 1 drink per day for men and avoiding alcohol entirely for women and high-risk seniors lowers blood pressure and improves brain health. Replacing alcohol with healthier evening routines such as herbal tea, light stretching, or meditation helps the body relax without damaging the brain. Alcohol may feel like a comfort, but it is quietly a dangerous enemy. If this surprised you, wait until you hear about the next habit. One that seems as innocent as staying awake at night, but silently stresses the brain and blood vessels while you sleep. Part 5. Habit 5. Poor sleep patterns. The final habit that can raise your stroke risk by up to 300% is having poor sleep patterns. Many seniors dismiss restless nights, late bedtimes, or waking up repeatedly as just part of aging. But the truth is, irregular or insufficient sleep quietly damages the brain and circulation, creating the perfect conditions for stroke. Here is what happens when sleep is disrupted. During healthy sleep, blood pressure naturally dips, giving your heart and arteries a chance to rest. If you stay up too late, sleep for only a few hours, or wake up multiple times, this restorative dip never occurs. The result is persistently high blood pressure throughout the night, which places continuous strain on the delicate vessels in the brain. Over time, this unrelieved stress increases the risk of both ischemic and hemorrhagic strokes. Poor sleep also disrupts hormone balance. Lack of sleep raises levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, which causes blood sugar and blood pressure to rise. At the same time, melatonin levels fall. Melatonin is not just a sleep hormone, it also helps regulate blood vessel function. When melatonin is low, arteries become stiffer, circulation slows, and clots are more likely to form. Combined, these changes create a dangerous environment for the brain. Another hidden danger is sleep apnea, a condition where breathing repeatedly stops and starts during the night. Seniors with sleep apnea often do not realize they have it, because the episodes happen silently while they sleep. Each pause in breathing lowers oxygen levels, forcing the heart to work harder and raising blood pressure in sudden spikes. These repeated oxygen drops and pressure surges throughout the night dramatically raise stroke risk. The effects of poor sleep are often felt the next day. Morning headaches, memory lapses, difficulty concentrating, or sudden fatigue are early warning signs that the brain was under stress overnight. Seniors may think these are simply signs of getting older, but they are in fact red flags that blood flow to the brain was compromised. Ignoring them allows silent damage to accumulate until a major stroke occurs. Studies confirm the connection between poor sleep and stroke. Research has shown that seniors who regularly sleep fewer than 6 hours per night are up to 3 times more likely to suffer a stroke than those who sleep 7 to 8 hours. Similarly, irregular sleep schedules, such as going to bed at different times each night, also raise risk. The brain thrives on routine, and disrupting that routine quietly erodes its resilience. The good news is that improving sleep patterns is within your control. Establishing a regular bedtime, avoiding caffeine or alcohol in the evening, and keeping the bedroom cool and dark all promote deeper sleep. If you snore loudly, wake up gasping, or feel unusually tired during the day, ask your doctor about screening for sleep apnea. Treatment with simple devices like CPAP machines can dramatically reduce stroke risk by keeping airways open and oxygen flowing. Sleep should be a time of healing, not harm. If this section startled you, stay with me, because in the next part, I will share practical guidance on how to break these dangerous habits and start protecting your brain today. Part 6. Practical guidance. How to break these habits. By now you have seen how 5 everyday habits: eating too much salt, living a sedentary lifestyle, smoking, drinking excessive alcohol, and having poor sleep patterns can raise your stroke risk by as much as 300%. The question is, how do you break these habits safely and effectively? The good news is that change is possible at any age. Even small steps taken today can reduce your risk tomorrow. The first step is awareness. Many seniors are not even conscious of their risky routines. Keeping a simple health journal can help you track how much salt you consume, how many hours you sit, how much alcohol you drink, or how often your sleep is disrupted. Awareness turns vague problems into measurable habits you can control. The second step is setting realistic goals. Do not try to change everything at once. Instead, focus on one habit at a time. If salt is your biggest problem, start by reducing processed foods and replacing the salt shaker with herbs and spices. If sitting is your weakness, set a timer to remind yourself to stand up every 30 minutes. Small changes build momentum and prevent overwhelm. The third step is seeking support. Breaking habits is easier when you are not alone. Involve family members, friends, or caregivers in your journey. For example, quitting smoking is far more successful with support groups or counseling. Limiting alcohol becomes easier when loved ones encourage you with healthier alternatives. Even improving sleep can benefit from a partner who helps you establish a calm evening routine. The fourth step is creating healthier environments. Remove triggers that keep old habits alive. If salty snacks are always in your kitchen, replace them with fruit or nuts. If cigarettes or alcohol are within easy reach, clear them from your home. Rearranging your environment reduces temptation and sets you up for success without relying solely on willpower. The fifth step is working with professionals. Doctors, nutritionists, and physical therapists can provide tailored advice and safe alternatives. For example, if high blood pressure is a concern, your doctor may recommend medication alongside dietary changes. If you have trouble exercising, a physical therapist can design movements that suit your abilities. If poor sleep plagues you, a sleep specialist can check for conditions like sleep apnea. Professionals ensure you are not making changes blindly but with guidance that maximizes safety. The sixth step is celebrating progress. Every day you choose less salt, more movement, fewer cigarettes, less alcohol, or an earlier bedtime is a victory. Reward yourself with positive reinforcement, like enjoying a hobby, calling a loved one, or simply reflecting on the health you are regaining. Acknowledging progress keeps motivation strong and makes the new habits stick. Finally, remember that setbacks are normal. If you slip back into an old habit, do not give up. What matters is consistency over time. Even reducing, not eliminating, dangerous habits can lower stroke risk significantly. Every small effort protects your brain and moves you closer to health. Breaking dangerous habits is not about perfection. It is about progress and persistence. In the next part, I will share healthier alternatives that not only replace these habits but actively strengthen your brain, heart, and overall well-being. Part 7. Healthier alternatives, food, exercise, and brain-safe routines. Now that we have discussed the 5 dangerous habits and how to break them, let us look at the positive side, healthier alternatives that can protect your brain and reduce your stroke risk dramatically. Replacing harmful routines with supportive ones is not just about avoiding disease. It is about giving your body the tools it needs to heal, recover, and stay strong well into older age. Let us begin with food choices. Instead of reaching for salty snacks or processed meals, focus on fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. The Mediterranean diet, which emphasizes olive oil, fish, nuts, beans, and leafy greens, has been shown to cut stroke risk significantly. Potassium-rich foods like bananas, spinach, and sweet potatoes help balance sodium levels, lowering blood pressure naturally. Omega-3 fatty acids found in fish like salmon or mackerel protect blood vessels and reduce inflammation. By making every meal an opportunity to fuel your brain, you are replacing a risk factor with a protective shield. Next is movement. A sedentary lifestyle can be swapped for simple, enjoyable activity. Walking for just 30 minutes a day reduces stroke risk by improving circulation, lowering cholesterol, and keeping weight under control. For those with limited mobility, chair exercises, light stretching, or water aerobics can provide safe alternatives. Activities like Tai Chi or yoga not only move the body but also calm the mind, reducing stress that contributes to high blood pressure. The key is consistency. A little movement every day builds resilience for years to come. Now, let us talk about replacing smoking and alcohol. Instead of cigarettes, practice deep breathing exercises when cravings strike. Breathing deeply not only distracts the mind, but also delivers oxygen directly to the brain, promoting relaxation. Replace the ritual of holding a cigarette with holding a cup of tea or chewing on sugar-free gum. For alcohol, consider herbal teas, sparkling water with lemon, or warm milk at night. These alternatives relax the body without straining the brain or heart. Over time, your body will associate these healthier options with comfort instead of destructive habits. When it comes to sleep, creating brain-safe routines is essential. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of consistent rest each night. Establish a calming bedtime ritual that signals your body it is time to wind down, such as dimming lights, turning off screens, and practicing gentle stretches or meditation. Keep your bedroom cool, quiet, and dark to promote deeper sleep. If you snore or wake frequently, consult your doctor about sleep apnea screening. Treating sleep problems not only reduces stroke risk but also restores memory, focus, and mood. Beyond these specific changes, developing daily brain-safe routines can transform your health. Staying socially engaged, practicing gratitude, and stimulating your mind with reading or puzzles protect cognitive function. Drinking plenty of water supports circulation. Managing stress through prayer, meditation, or mindfulness lowers blood pressure and balances hormones. Each of these habits may seem small, but together they create an environment where your brain thrives instead of suffers. The message here is clear. You are not powerless. Every harmful habit has a healthier alternative that can be just as satisfying, often more so. By choosing foods that heal, movements that energize, drinks that relax without harm, and sleep that restores, you give your brain the protection it needs. In the final conclusion, I will summarize the most important lessons and remind you why it is never too late to change and safeguard your future. Conclusion: it's never too late to protect your brain. We have reached the end of this journey, and I want to leave you with a powerful truth. Stroke is not simply a random event of aging. It is often the result of daily habits that silently damage the brain and blood vessels over time. Habits like eating too much salt, sitting for hours without moving, smoking, drinking too much alcohol, and ignoring poor sleep patterns can raise your stroke risk by as much as 300%. The shocking part is that many seniors practice these habits without realizing the danger, believing they are harmless routines. But what feels normal today can set the stage for tragedy tomorrow. The hopeful news is that your brain and body still remember how to heal. Change is possible at any age. By breaking these habits and replacing them with healthier alternatives, you can cut your stroke risk dramatically and reclaim your independence, memory, and quality of life. Choosing fresh foods instead of salty snacks, walking daily instead of sitting for hours, breathing deeply instead of smoking, sipping tea instead of alcohol, and going to bed at a consistent hour are simple steps, yet they have profound effects on the brain. Over time, these choices strengthen your blood vessels, balance your hormones, and keep oxygen flowing where it is needed most. I have seen patients who transform their lives by making these changes. Seniors who thought they were too old to change gave up cigarettes, cut back on salt, and committed to better sleep. Within months, their blood pressure improved, their energy returned, and their stroke risk dropped. It is never too late to start. Every step you take away from harmful habits is a step toward protecting your brain. I want you to remember, this stroke prevention is not about perfection. It is about persistence. You do not have to transform everything overnight. Even small changes, repeated consistently, create big results. Each meal, each walk, each night of proper rest is an investment in your future. Do not underestimate the power of these small daily decisions. They may be the difference between waking up healthy or waking up to a life-changing stroke. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these habits surprised you the most? Which healthier alternative are you going to try starting tonight? Take a moment to reflect and share your answer in the comments. Type 1 if you found this video valuable, or type 0 if you want me to improve and bring you even more useful tips. Share this video with someone you love, because the knowledge you pass on could save their life. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another health tip made just for you. Your brain is precious. Your independence is priceless. Protect them both by choosing wisely today.